Hi everyone, in this tutorial we're gonna go ahead and create an app like this, okay? And in this application we're going to actually use the expandable list view in our application. So let me show you how this app works. As you can see here, we have an application that actually uses an expandable list view, and if I actually click on this sport here, as you can see here, now this group view, this sport is actually has childs, okay? And we can see that these values that are inside of this sport group view are actually the children of this sport, okay? And if I click on this computer, as you can see, we have this computer and we have these children of this computer. And as you can see, this is the same story for this food here. So this is called the group view, okay? And these are the children of this group view, as you can see here. And we have car, okay? And we have this this child of this car, and we have this TV, and we have these children of this TV, okay? So in this application, we're gonna actually create an app like this. We need to actually click on this Start a New Android Studio project, and then for the application name, just type in here app 35. And then click on next, and here choose API 16 Android 4.1 Jelly Bean, next, blank activity, next, and then click on finish. And now let's actually select this hello world text view here, and then press on delete key on your keyboard, and then double click on this res folder here, layout, and then activity underline main.xml. So now let's actually select this floating action button here, and then press on delete key on your keyboard, okay? So let's actually go back inside this content underline main.xml, and here we need to actually design the user interface of our application. Now let's actually drag an expandable list view into this layout here, okay? But first of all, let's actually drag a linear layout vertical into this relative layout and put it at the center of this relative layout here. And now let's actually go inside this containers folder. As you can see here, as you can see, we have this expandable list view, okay? Just select it and put it at the center of this linear layout vertical, okay? And as you can see, we have this expandable list view here. Double click on it. As you can see, we have this ID here, okay? So this is the ID of this expandable list view, and just leave it as default expandable list view, okay? So let's actually go back inside this main activity.java file here, and now let's actually delete these lines of code that are related to the options menu, okay? And here select this block of code and then delete this, okay? As you can see, this block of code is actually related to the floating action button, okay? So we don't need it. And now inside this class, let's actually create an object of type expandable list view, expandable list view. As you can see here, we have this class here, expandable list view, and let's actually give a name to this object, expandable list view, and put a semicolon here. So as you can see here, we're just declaring this object here inside of this class. And inside of this onCreate method, I want to initialize this object. So here I could just refer to the name of this object, expandable list view, assignment operator, and here I need to cast this object to an expandable list view object. So as you can see here, find view by ID art.id dot expandable list view, okay? And then put a semicolon at the end of your statement. So now let's actually create a Java class, okay? So that we can actually bind our expandable list view codes with this expandable list view, okay? So if we actually create another separate class, our job would be more, our work would be more cleaner, okay? And it is more professional to actually create classes for every specific job that you want to actually perform in your program. So I just need to click on File, New, okay, and then Java class, and here for the name of my class I can just type in expandable list view adapter, okay? So as you can see here, the job of this adapter is to actually bind the data with the list view that we have in our layout, okay? So that's why we need to actually create an adapter, okay? And then click on OK. So as you can see here, we have this expandable list view adapter here, okay? So now we need to actually extend from the base expandable list adapter class. So as you can see here, we have this base expandable list adapter, and this class expandable listview adapter is actually inheriting all of the features and behaviors that are inside of this base expandable list adapter class. Okay, so let's actually open our web browser and see what is this base expandable list adapter. So as you can see here, this is the Android documentation, and you can actually enter this URL in your web browser in order to be guided to this page. And we have this base expandable list adapter, and as you can see here, this is actually an abstract class. Okay, so objects cannot be created from this class. Okay, and here you can see it says that base class for a expandable list adapter used to provide data and views from some data to an expandable list view. Okay, so we have an expandable list view here. As you can see, this is our list view, and this class, this expandable list adapter, used to provide data, okay, and views from some data to an expandable list view. Okay, adapters inheriting this class should verify that the base implementations of get combined child ID and get combined group ID are correct in generating unique IDs from the group or children IDs. Okay, and we can see some methods that are inside of this base expandable list adapter class. Okay, and we need to actually implement some of those methods. Okay, and you can see we have these methods here: get combined group ID, and we have this get group type and other methods. So now let's actually go to our Android Studio, and let's actually go inside this expandable list adapter class here. And as you can see, it's now showing us an error. So let's actually hover our mouse pointer here, and it says class expandable listview adapter must either be declared abstract or implement abstract methods that are inside of this base expandable list adapter. So how can we can know actually what are the methods, what are the abstract methods that we need to actually implement inside of this class? So here I can just right click inside of this class expandable listview adapter, and then click on generate, as you can see here, and then click on implement methods. So as you can see here, we need to actually implement all of these methods that are here. Okay, as you can see, we have lots of methods here, and we need to actually implement all of these methods, or in other words, we need to actually override these methods. Okay, so here if I click on OK, as you can see, now the error is gone. Okay, now I am actually overriding the methods that I am actually inheriting from this abstract class. Okay, so this is very important. But first of all, let's actually put in some more lines of code here inside of this class, and then we're gonna go ahead and implement these methods. Okay, so now I'm gonna paste in some lines of code here, and then I'm gonna explain to you what's going on here. Okay, so as you can see here, these are the lines of code that I actually pasted here. First of all, I actually created an array of string values. As you can see here, this is actually a one-dimensional array, and the name of this array is group names. So as you can see here in our emulator, this is our application, and these are the names of the group. Okay, group names. So as you can see here, sport, computer, food, car, TV. And here, as you can see inside of this array, I actually assigned these values: sport, computer, food, car, TV. And we have a two-dimensional array for child names. As you can see here, this is actually a two-dimensional array, and the name of this array is child names. And as you know, a two-dimensional array is actually an array of arrays. Okay, a two-dimensional array is actually an array of arrays. Okay, so we have an array here, and we have some arrays inside of this array. Okay, for example, for the first array that is actually inside of this array, we have boxing, kickboxing, judo, football, basketball. And here we can see that if I click on this sport here, you can see these values inside of this sport here. Okay, and as you can see, we have for the second array that is actually inside of this child names two-dimensional array, we have desktop computer, laptop computer, smartphone computer. And if I click on this computer, you can see these values. And here you can see that we have another array, ice cream, banana. And as you can see, this is for food. And we have Mercedes-Benz, and we have this car here. And we have this Samsung TV and LG TV. and this is for this TV here. Okay. So first we created an array of group names. This is actually a one-dimensional array, and then we created a two-dimensional array, okay, an array of arrays, and the name of this array is child names. Okay, so now let's actually declare a variable of type context, okay, in order to specify the context of our activity, of our application. So we have this context class, and as you can see, it actually automatically imported this context class to our activity here, to our class. And the name of this object is context, okay? And as you can see, I didn't actually instantiate this object yet. So I want to actually instantiate it when the constructor of this class is being called, okay? So here I can just type in public, okay, expandable Listview adapter, okay? So remember, the name of your constructor must be the same as the name of your class, okay? And then I put in a pair of brackets here, a pair of parentheses, as you can see here. And here you can see, and inside the parentheses, I can actually specify the arguments of this constructor. So here I can just type in context, okay? Context. So remember that context allows this activity to actually interact with other features of Android outside of this activity, okay? So we can use context in lots of places in our Android application programming, okay? So this is very important. So context allows this activity, this class, to interact with other features outside of this activity. So we need to actually initialize this context. So this dot context assignment operator context. And then I need to put in a semicolon at the end of my statement here. So as you can see here, we have this get group count here. As you can see, we are actually overriding this method in our class, okay? So as you can see here, it says return 0. So here we need to actually return the number of elements that are inside of these group names here, okay? Inside of this group names array, okay? So here I can just refer to the name of that array, group names, okay, dot length, okay? And as you can see here, we have this get children count here, and we need to actually implement this method here. So as you can see, it says get children count. So we need to actually refer to the name of this child names array, okay? And we need to actually get the value of the length of this array, okay? And then return that value. So here I can just type in child names dot length, okay? And here, as you can see, we have another method, get group. Okay, so this method actually returns a value of type object, okay? And the name of this method is getGroup, and this method actually accepts an argument of type integer, and the name of this argument is group position. So here we need to actually return the values that are inside of this get group names array, okay? So here I can just type in, let me actually delete this null here, return group names, okay, sub group position. So it's going to actually return the specific value that is inside of the specific position, specific index actually of this array, okay? First we are referring to the name of this group names array, and then we are actually referring to the specific index or position that is inside of this array, okay? For example, sport, computer, food, car, or TV, okay? So we are returning that specific value, okay, from this method get group. And we have get child here, and this method actually accepts two arguments, and this method actually returns a value of type object. So here, as you can see, we need to actually return the values that are inside of this child names array, okay? So as you can see, this is actually a two-dimensional array. So here for this method, I can just return to the name of that array child names, okay, sub. As you can see, we have two arguments, group position, child position. So I can just type in group position, okay, sub child position. Okay, so this is actually the row and this is the column. So for example, if we assign the value 0 for this group position, okay, it's going to go inside of this child names array. So this is the element 0, okay, index 0. And if if we actually assign the value 0 for this child position, it's going to actually return this value boxing to us. Okay, so in this method we are actually returning the values that are inside of this child names array. Okay, get child. And we have another method, as you can see here, get group ID. So here I could just return the group position. That's okay. So the group position is the group ID, actually the index of our values inside of these group names. Okay, so these, for example, this is index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these values would be the ID for these group names. Okay, so here, as you can see, I just returned this group position, and we have get child ID here, as you can see. And here, as you can see, for this method get child ID, we have this child position as an argument. So we could just return that value, return child position. Okay, so this method is going to actually return the specific index that are inside of this child names array. For example, index 0, 1, 2, 3, and other values. Okay, so these are the columns, and these are as you can see, these arrays are actually the rows that are inside of this child names array. Okay, so we are just returning the index of the child position. Okay, so these are the children of this array. Okay, these columns: boxing, kickboxing, judo, football, basketball, and other values. So here, as you can see, we have this get child ID, and here we have this has stable IDs. So the default implementation for this method is enough. Okay, we don't need to actually overwrite this method again, and here we don't need to actually put in our own implementations. Okay, so now, and as you can see here, we can actually go to the web browser. Okay, and here, as you can see, this is our expandable list adapter class, and now I can actually search for the name of that specific methods that I want to actually see the descriptions of that method. Okay, so here I could just press on hold the command key and then press on the letter F on my keyboard. If you are using a Windows machine, you need to actually hold the control key and then press on the letter F on your keyboard. And here inside the search bar, as you can see, I can actually search for my specific methods, has stable IDs. And as you can see here, this is our method, and this is actually an abstract method, and the return type of this method actually is Boolean, and it says indicates whether the child and group IDs are stable across changes to the underlying data. Okay, so this is the description of this method. Okay, let's actually go to the Android Studio IDE. So we don't need to actually overwrite, actually we don't need to put our own implementations here. Okay, so let's see what is the other method, and we have this get group view. Okay, and here, as you can see, this method actually returns a value of type view. Okay, and this method actually accepts some arguments. So the first argument is a group position of type integer. The second argument is expanded Boolean. The third argument is convert view. So let's actually change the name of this argument to view. And the fourth argument is view group parent. Okay, so we have these values as an argument of this method. Okay, so let's actually implement this method here. So now I'm gonna actually paste in some lines of code here, and then I'm gonna explain to you what's going on here. So as you can see here, we have, I actually pasted these lines of code here. Okay, and as you can see, we don't need this line of code, return null here. And here, first of all, in line 68, I actually created an object of type TextView, and the name of this object is TXTView. Assignment operator new, here I am initializing this object, TextView context. So this TextView here, as you can see, this constructor, the constructor of this TextView class actually needs the context. Okay, so I just assigned this context object that I actually declared inside of this class, as you can see here in line 21. And here in line 69, I actually want to set some text to this text view. Okay, so txtview.set text group names. So this method get group view is going to actually return to us these the values, these group names, as you can see here. Okay, sport, computer, TV. Okay, so this method is actually returning these values to the caller of this method. Okay, so we can see that this method is going to be called on each iteration of these values. Okay, sport, computer, food, car, TV. Okay, so this method, the name of this method is get group view. Okay, so these are the group views. Okay, and we actually created a text view, as you can see here, txt.setText group names. So I actually referred to this group names array. As you can see here, these are the values that are inside of this emulator, as you can see here. And here I actually put in a pair of brackets group position, as you can see here. So it's going to actually return the specific value that is inside of the specific index or specific position of this group names array. Okay, so we can see these values here.